Welcome everybody, it's me, Dr Khaled Sadek, and you've tuned into another episode of my live chat session here at lipomacyst.com, your one-stop shop for all your cyst and lipoma needs. Remember, if you see anything on our channel and you think you'd like treatment, then don't forget to hesitate to contact us at lipomacyst.com. If you've joined me live, welcome. Thank you for joining me on the premiere of that irresistible ear cyst just shown. We're also going to be discussing a lot of questions about all that's been going on, from COVID vaccines to questions about cysts, lipomas. We'll be looking at some of the comments that people have written online as well. So if you've got questions, then do bring them in, put them online. Let's see where we are with it. So, well, that last clip was particularly challenging, I have to say. The cyst was really deep down. It was a very small area to operate, very awkward area, because it's right behind the ear, and you've got to kind of work your way around some of the cartilage there and avoid some of the vessels and nerves. So tricky, and that's quite clear from the video. And as you can see, it was really stuck down at the base. There's always a slight tethering, shall we say, of the sac to the lower part of the inferior aspect of the cyst. So there's a bit of a struggle on that front. So hope you're all well. We're doing fantastic. We've hit, I think, 208,000 subscribers. So thank you all so much for watching, subscribing, encouraging, and we've made some changes as well as promised. 2021 is going to be where we kind of try and up our game a little bit, and we've introduced a lot of new features, and that includes the pre-roll at the start of the video and the summary at the end of the video. We've also sped up some of the stitching part. Some people do like it, some people don't like it, so we're mixing that up. But more importantly, we've added in our own bit of audio. So we've got some wonderful tracks that we're sampling and putting it in, and really just taking the videos to another level where they deserve to be. And that's, of course, on top of our pioneering work on the multiple camera angles as well. All of that for free at my channel, Dr Khaled Sadek. Remember, you can also find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So make sure you do that as well. So let's have a quick shout out. We're not going to look at any of the videos today on the live chat, because it's just a casual Friday evening. Hope everybody's well. Hope you've had your Friday dose. On Sunday, I'm going to release a re-edit of one of my favourite pops. So that is to come. Haven't done that before. I haven't really released any of the back catalogue in a new format, but I thought we'll give that a go on Sunday. Let me know your thoughts about your favourite pops, which ones you'd like to see again, maybe re-edited with the new layout and format. We can do that, not a problem at all. So let's have a scroll through. Let's see who we've got in the house. Dr. Sarah, our orthodontic surgeon, is in the house. Welcome. Gail Sharp, Suki M, Baljit Rai, how you doing? Alessandra Testo from Brazil, welcome. For me, this channel is more than pops, feeling like a community and friendship as well. Alessandra, that's really beautiful thing. You are contributing to a fantastic community, absolutely. I think the premiere is an opportunity for all of us to kind of get together, half an hour before the release of a video, have a chat, have a little discussion, catch up, get us a little drink, and then we go on to the premiere and then maybe a live chat as well. So the live chats have been a bit hit and miss in terms of their scheduling, only because things have been pretty hectic as we step up the vaccination process here in the United Kingdom for the COVID. So a lot of my time is going into that as well. So let's see what else we've got in the house. Bridget Schumacher, how are you doing? Mel Heinrich, welcome. Lara is saying cheers. Melinda Toth, welcome. Helen Cole, Sid G, Raven E. Let's scroll right up. Helen Cole, Gail Sharp, Caroline TomTom, Janet Bailey, Patricia DeHart, great job. Rosemary, welcome. Rosemary Ross. Lisa Williams, hi doc, from West Virginia, United States, #1 fan, absolutely. Catherine Saxon from South Carolina, welcome. We've got Susan Burt saying hi to Dr. Sarah. We've got Patricia, I want to tell you how amazing your videos are. This one was particularly messing for you to perform. Yeah, absolutely. It was a bit messy, absolutely. Caroline, how you doing? Susan from France, welcome. I don't understand spoken English. Very, very sorry. Bonjour. Bonjour, Suzanne. Welcome. Welcome. Uh, Sabrina, how are you doing from Texas? Adalis from Belgique, is that? Hello, how are you doing? Susan Burt, is a jumper or a t-shirt? It's a kind of like a jumper or a sweater. I don't know how you guys call it in the States. Helen Cole, welcome. We've got Burke Bun from San Diego. Wonderful turnout. I'm going to go through all of them. We've got Michelle McDade, how are you doing? Lisa Williams, Helen Cole, Christiana Maria Druta. It's a jumper. Carl Larson, Paula, 123, Sheila, and Anne, and so many more. Welcome. So in the last video, I did I sort of described to you what it was like to have the first dose, and there was a suggestion that we do a video about the second dose. So we've done that. We're gonna bring it to you, and actually the main side effect I mentioned was the painful arm where the site of the injection was, but actually on the second dose you get that as well. You get the painful arm, but also you do feel very, very tired and very, very sleepy with a little bit of temperatures. So that was one of the new side effects that I felt with the second vaccine, was that it just kind of gets you boof, with a bit of tiredness. But it doesn't last long. It's really a 3-4 day tiredness, and then you're back on it again. Also, we're going to be introducing what is known as shorts. Not shorts as in physical education shorts or going to the beach shorts, but YouTube have produced a new video format which they're calling shorts, and it's a 30-second pre-roll, similar to kind of stuff you may see on Instagram stories or TikTok. And we're going to be uploading those, so don't be surprised if you suddenly see, what's he doing? It's a 30-second clip, and it's in a vertical format. It's not the horizontal format, so it looks strange when you see it. But that's because YouTube have set up a sort of a competitor to TikTok and Instagram stories by having what they're calling shorts. And you'll know it's a shorts video because it's got the hashtag shorts in both the title and the description. So there'll be more of those coming from us, so do bear with us while that is being trialed by YouTube. What are the new developments? Yeah, a lot of the music that we're getting, a lot of people want to know the artists, so we're working on that. We're happy to take in artists who want to be featured on our videos. So if you're a musician or you know some friends who do music and they want to give us the music, so we will put it on the videos and we can credit them at the bottom, we will do that. Absolutely, no problem. Always looking for nice tunes to kind of go with it. Let me know also what you thought about the tracks. Which ones were your favorite? We had a couple now. We've had sort of a Spanish flamenco, we've had the strings, we've had the sort of the relaxing crystals, we've had some swinging jazz. What else have we had? I think we had an up-tempo sort of beat as well. So what was your favourite music track? Which one do you want to hear more of? Which one do you want to hear less of? Do you want to hear any of it? Let me know. Let's take some more questions. Let's go back to the discussions here. Why don't I put this over here? Is that better there? Was it better there? Let's put it there. I think it looks better there. So let's have a look. Belinda from Cologne says, lots of new subscribers. Keep it up. Can't wait till you hit 1 million. Gosh, yeah. And I think it's going to take a bit of time to hit 1 million, but certainly, the more effort you put into the channel, certainly the more satisfaction you get. And I think just increasing the quality and frequency of the production. So a lot of investments gone into the audio visuals in terms of the cameras, the lighting setups, and the audios. So that's certainly feeding into that. So that's really great to see that being rewarded. What else is going on? Jazz. Anything upbeat, that's Rhonda Burke in terms of music. Yeah, the jazz ones are very funky and upbeat, aren't they? Like a nice tempo, about 130 beats. That works quite well, I think. Depends on the material. Knitted wool is a jumper. Man-made fibers are sweaters. Good point. I don't know what the fabric is on this. I think it's cotton. It's cotton. And it's made not by hand, but in a machine. South Africa, where I live, people are getting healed by ivermectin. That's Anne Ingram. Interesting. Alessandro, which kind of music do you like? We like any kind of music that may fit with the videos. Have a look at the videos. Think to yourself, what would work with that? Your COVID vaccination sounds a lot like the quadruple strength flu vaccine they give us old folk. That's Helen Cole. Yeah, I think it is. I think it's like with anything, when you, for instance, when you install a new package on your computer, it always wants to shut down, reboot, and that's very much the same with your immune system. When it's subjected to a foreign infection or a new immunization, then it wants to just kind of go to sleep, reboot, and install the new hardware in the morning. So yeah, absolutely, it does drain you a little bit. Love the jazz, Latin, flamenco. You should try something from the Caribbean like soca or New Orleans jazz. Yeah, absolutely, we definitely would like to do that. I'll have a look. I'll see what we can find. I think we can find something there. Strings, cellos, violins, what I call dramatic music. Absolutely, yeah. That's definitely something for the cinema reel. Let's have a look. Who else has got questions for us? You had something almost tribal a while back. That was Shannon. Yeah, we did actually. Maybe we'll fish that out. I don't like to use the tracks too repetitively because it just becomes a little bit monotonous. But if it's a good track, definitely worth using a couple of times, right? Let's have a look. Let's scroll up. I've been away too long and I'm glad I'm back to the live chat. Absolutely nice colour sweaters. People liking the sweater. Eric from Kentucky. No, it's a jumper. Canada, it's a sweater. There's a lot of discussion. Canada sweater, Canada sweater, jumper. Question. Sherry Allen from Massachusetts. Where in Massachusetts are you? Tell me. Wow. So personally I listen to music from the 70s, 80s, 90s. Most of the times pop rock, soft rock, zouk. Wow, salsa, Arabian, Indian music. Wow, Alessandro's got a large collection of genres there. Wonderful. So, well, we're also going to be doing some of the mysteries, the medical mysteries as well. We'll be doing some of those. Get your questions in. I want to answer as many questions as we can during the live chat. Write them in bold. We'll go to the intermission, and then after the intermission, I'll go through the questions. Stay tuned. Welcome, I'm Dr Khaled Sadek, and you're watching my fantastic world of cysts and lipoma removal. I'm Dr Khaled Sadek. Welcome to Medical Mysteries. Every Friday at 9:30 Greenwich Mean Time. Welcome, I'm Dr Khaled Sadek, and you're watching my fantastic world of cysts and lipoma removal. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for bringing your questions in. I've been busy writing them down as fast as they've been coming in. If you've got more, let me know. We can definitely do some more questions. So I've plucked a couple here. So a lot of questions about the vaccine, and we'll be going on to those. A lot of people wanting to know, are the questions related to the vaccine? Are they related to the work? It's related to everything. Ask anything you want whatsoever. You got me for 20, 30 minutes. Might as well make the most of it. So someone's asked. Sorry, I forgot to write the name of the handle, but they want to know if you've already contracted the COVID-19, should you get the vaccine? That's a very, very good question. A lot of people asking this. So let's start with the easy part of that question. So the easy part of the question is that if you currently have the COVID infection, if you're currently having it, then you're not eligible for the vaccine until 4 weeks since the temperature started. So if the infection is recent, as in it's like in the last 4 weeks, then you technically can't, but after that you could. Okay, that's number one. Number two, the question is, what immunity does getting the COVID infection give you? So currently, I think the consensus is that you can get about 5 months of immunity by having a natural infection process. If you contract COVID, then that may give you 5 months of immunity, maybe longer, maybe shorter. So that's number two. So you could get that. Is there a benefit, therefore, for people who've had the COVID, say, 6 months ago? Yes, because you're basically getting a booster shot. And so what you don't want to do is obviously get COVID back to back, because it's not only debilitating in the sense that you're in bed, you've got this horrible cough and you've got a headache, but it's also got some long-term sequelae of disease. So there may be some repercussions that will be a little bit more tricky to shake off, such as the loss of taste and smell, certain long COVID side effects like fatigue, heart palpitations. So the vaccine won't give you those long-term complications, but if you want immunity via the infection, then you're going to get that other stuff with it. So the point of what I'm saying is that you get the vaccination to avoid having the complications of the condition. Okay, so if you've had it longer than 6 months, then I would say, look, get the vaccination, get the booster, right? The other question that we've had is 3 different strains of COVID-19. Well, those are the ones we've heard of, and certainly some of them are more prominent than the others. So the first one was the mink. There was the Denmark mink strain. Then we heard of the South African strain. Then we heard of the UK strain. And now we've got the Brazilian strain. And so the big question is, does the vaccine offer protection against all these different strains? And that's the $1 million or $1 billion question. If we look at the behavior of respiratory viral infections like influenza, we know that there are many strains. And someone mentioned the big four, the quadrivalent vaccination that we offer. So in those cases, we're actually immunizing against 4 possible variants. Okay, so it's not unfathomable to think that the coronavirus will not have that same kind of demographic, that in future vaccines you'll be immunized for multiple strains. Okay, at the moment the vaccine is for a single strain, that is the COVID-19 that presented in December of 2019. Okay, now it's a short sequenced not messenger RNA, it's a short sequenced RNA virus. So they replicate fast, they can make errors, they mutate frequently. Some of those mutations may go on to make it a little bit more virulent than its predecessor, more contagious, and so forth. So certainly with time, more mutations will occur, more of the virus will mutate. So we should anticipate that the virus will modify, and we should therefore modify our vaccine accordingly. So the vaccine at the present time is a little bit behind the curve because it's rapidly changing and vaccines take time to develop. However, it will infer some immunity to you, and it will also bring down the prevalence of this virus so that there's less burden on the acute services and hospitals. There'll also be a reduction in the transmission rates. So, if we've got 100 people and they're all sick, they're all going to go to hospital. But if we can vaccinate half of them, we got 50 people less going to A&E. So that's part of the vaccination process. So let's not get drawn out to whether or not the vaccine is going to protect us against this new version. What we're doing is trying to build up a herd immunity so that eventually it kind of just dies out. It cannot spread from person to person. And with time, there'll be more and more of those. Someone says hi from St. Kitts. St. Kitts, how you doing? How you doing? And Eliza would like more Jewish music. Absolutely, we'll do that as well. So get your questions in. Let's have a look. Who else we have here? Let's have. These headphones are really uncomfortable. They kind of make me feel a little bit itchy. Okay, so Terry, do you really feel that this vaccine is completely safe when it was produced so quickly without time to monitor the long-term side effects? So that's a question that a lot of people have asked, and I think that came up in the last question, discussion about the COVID vaccine, and we didn't actually answer it because I didn't see it. So the question is twofold. So is it safe? And it was produced quickly. So let's have a look. Oh yeah, and long-term effects. So the reason it was produced quickly was because we had a lot more resources focused on its production. Okay, so normally when we develop a vaccine, there's one clinic. It's in isolation, it's developing over a period of time, okay? And that clinic may be developing a range of other vaccines or other products. So their resources are not infinite, and therefore, if you've got 10 projects and you divide your resources by 10, then you've got a fraction of the total amount. But if you clear the board and you put your entire focus on developing one product, then by the very nature of that impetus, your product will come to market quicker. So it was developed quicker because we needed it to be developed quicker. We had a lot more resources focused at developing that single product. I mean, there's no other vaccine that needs to be developed right now other than a COVID vaccine, and the whole world just turned its guns towards it. So yes, the speed at which represents the energy that's been put towards getting that to market and rolling it out. In terms of its safety, the clinical trials are as robust. It included several tens of thousands of participants in the clinical trials, as any vaccine would have gone under. So we sped up the development, but we used the same number of people in terms of the clinical trials. So for clinical trials, you have to use a significant number of people to develop what we call an N number, which is a power ratio to make sure that your stats are accurate. And clinical trials are based on basically numbers. And if you've got 50,000 people, that's a pretty robust trial. So that answers, Teddy, the question about the speed, answers the question about the safety. And your third point was long-term effect. So yeah, we don't know the long-term effect because we've only kind of just been doing it for 12 months. But that in itself is quite long-term when you think about vaccines in general. But what we do know long-term is a very deep understanding of the immune system and how it responds to vaccines in general. And that information is pretty robust because, one, we've developed many hundreds of vaccines and we know how they pan out in terms of complications. We know the kind of complications you would expect. And I've read the paper from Pfizer, and the vaccine complications were pretty minimal. And that's pretty much translating what we're seeing globally in terms of complications. So I think I've had both doses, and it's safe and it's effective. So definitely we need to get that rolled out. I hope, Teddy, that was what a question. Another question: how do you recognize these mutations? How do they present themselves differently from the original strain to be termed as a variant? Another good question there from the audience, Teddy, again. So the way that viruses are identified is by using a sample. So they do a nasopharyngeal swab, a nose swab. That will capture the virus in the mucus. That sample is then analyzed for the genetic makeup of the virus. So the RNA of that virus, the genetic makeup, will go through something called a PCR. That's a polymerase chain reaction. And it's basically a tank where they put the RNA segment in and then they replicate it many thousands of times until they get a good view of it. Okay? That sequence will look like a series of words. Do you remember the analogy I gave you about the recipe? So they'll look at the recipe. Now, if somewhere along the lines you got a recipe for a chocolate cake and then 10 weeks later it turns into a orange cake, that's a mutation. Yeah? So somewhere along the lines you've got a virus that's gone from a chocolate cake to an orange cake, and so that's how they identify it. They use the nasopharyngeal swabs to look at the RNA PCR feedback, and then they can tally it with the sequences, the message or the recipe, and then they can identify new strains. And so what they'll end up seeing is certain spikes in a cohort of a strain compared to other, and that's how they identify the new strains of the virus. So instead of making a chocolate cake, they ended up making a strawberry cake. Okay? Mel Heinrich, if a patient is asymptomatic, will the test be negative or positive? Right, so the test will be positive when, first of all, there are many tests out there, and I'm only going to be talking about the gold standard. That's the PCR nasopharyngeal swab. Okay? That's where they send it to the lab. I'm not going to talk about antibody blood tests or saliva. I'm just going to talk about the PCR test. A test can only be positive with the PCR test if the virus is in the nose, because it's going by the genetic makeup of the virus. If you don't have the virus, it doesn't have the genetic makeup. So the test will only be positive irrespective whether they have a symptom or not. So you can have an asymptomatic patient with a positive PCR test, okay? And that's why for maybe 10 days prior to developing symptoms, you can be infectious, okay? So you can get a positive test on an asymptomatic patient. However, you can also get a positive test on someone who's actually recovered from the coronavirus, because some of the dead virus RNA still remains in their system and it's being picked up. Okay, so you can get a positive test either because they are going to go on to become symptomatic, or that they are carriers of the virus, or that they've recovered from the virus and it's now kind of just dead in the system. Okay. Let's have a look. Yearly flu vaccinations will be necessary unless scientists come up with a mega flu shot every year. Absolutely. COVID-19 vaccine was given a small percentage of encephalitis during trials in England. Do you know the pharmacy field works and how they push new drugs? That's true. Absolutely. So there was a case of encephalitis that developed from the Oxford vaccine, which I believe they were okay. I believe it was reversed, but that was right. That was correct. There was a case of encephalitis with the Oxford vaccine, but not with the messenger RNA vaccine from Pfizer or Moderna. Let's have a new question. So many questions. Gosh, I'm going to have another intermission. Let's have another intermission, and I'll write these questions down and get back to you. You hold fire. Welcome, I'm Dr Khaled Sadek, and you're watching my fantastic world of cysts and lipoma removal. I'm Dr Khaled Sadek. Welcome to Medical Mysteries. Every Friday at 9:30 Greenwich Mean Time. Right, welcome back for the third part of today's live chat, and a lot of questions, a lot of interest around the COVID vaccine. So let's go through these. So let's have a look. We've got some also questions coming in from the WhatsApp. They are good. So Sandra, are we going to do away with the flu vaccine altogether? No, because it's a completely different virus. It's a completely different disease. So the influenza virus is a different virus. The COVID virus is another virus. It's like hepatitis or polio or whooping cough or tetanus. You're going to have all these many vaccinations. So the flu vaccine is going to remain. We're just going to add in the COVID vaccine as well. Shannon's asking, should you take the test before you get a vaccination? You should only take the test if you have symptoms or you're concerned that you have developed COVID-19 or for travel or work purposes, or you want to visit people. So the test isn't a prerequisite to just having the vaccine on it by itself. But if you are developing symptoms, then yeah, by all means get the test done before you do that, because that will determine whether or not you can go and have that on much quicker. Let me put this a little bit. There we go. So look, 62 likes. Make sure you all hit the like. We're going to wrap up for today because we've had a long chat. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll look forward to doing the same premiere and live chat again on Sunday at 8:30 Greenwich Mean Time. Until next time, everybody, you take care. Bye bye.